Well, I'm unmuting myself and I'm gonna go talk to the. Well, I'm unmuting myself and I'm gonna go talk to the. Well, I'm unmuting myself and I'm gonna go talk to the. Well, I'm unmuting myself and I'm gonna go talk to the. Well, I'm unmuting myself and I'm gonna go talk to the. Oh. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. I'm unmuted. It wouldn't be a Narukami stream without technical difficulties. But good evening, everyone. It is a wonderful Friday afternoon. And this Friday afternoon, we have a very special guest that is going to be joining us today to discuss some Street Fighter topics that I like to get people's opinion on. So, y'all join me in welcoming the one, the only, the young kid, the young Ryu prodigy, Paladin. And you should be how you doing today, Paladin? You good? You good?
Good.
Wait, hold on.
I did not expect you to give me that great of an introduction, bro. Like,
You see,
I was like, that was flattering.
I had to make it, grand because this is a big occasion. We don't do too many collabs on this stream because most of the time we like to focus on grinding. And so when we do get a chance to do a collab, especially in a form of, I guess you want to consider this like a podcast or something, I like to show out a little bit to appreciate the bless the stream. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
how's your day been going so far? You've been doing good. I mean, you look good. Your camera's pretty nice. I mean, your your light is a little bit off, but hey, I'll give you a pass on that.
But everything has been going smoothly. Had a good breakfast. I've not ate lunch, but it's okay. You play better when you're hungry. I played some ranked. I am just checking. 18th, ranked 18th right now. It's only the second day, but I think that's still pretty cool. Like, there's some novelty to that.
Okay, so you're out here staying in the rank streets. I definitely need to get back into playing some rank, but I'm still in a bit of a character crisis. But nevertheless, uh, I want to talk to you today. I want to I want to get started because I don't think many people know this, and I kind of know this because we spoke a bit about this before, and I just want you to give your history when it comes to Street Fighter, and how you got started playing Street Fighter.
So, my dad had played Street Fighter 4, and as time moved on and we moved houses, he stopped playing. Then I saw Street Fighter 5. I was looking for a game to go competitive in. When I was 8 or 13, in between there, I lied about my age a lot. Then we both paid. I used birthday money, $50 to get Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition. And from there, we played a bit. He eventually had other things to work on, and he's in a very great spot right now for other things. So I recommend to him to just leave Street Fighter to me for now, and we can like improve our family, improve our living quality, even though it's already great. And I've just kept on going, grinding, watching as many videos as I possibly can to improve and reshaping myself as a player every single day through God.
Okay. So you started with 5. That was your first competitive game, right? So you said your father played 4, but you played 5, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So let me ask you this. In 5, I didn't hear too much about you because I had my ear to the ground when it comes to a lot of this stuff. But I want to ask you, What do you think clicked between 5 and 6 for you to get to the level to where you are now?
Not much in between, but before Street Fighter 6 had come out, or to specify, before Street Fighter 6 came out, I don't know what it was, but I just got good. It kind of just happened. It was a lot of practice that led up to the point where I can have this type of understanding of neutral fundamentals, offense, or whatever. Really, I've almost always been this equally as motivated. Uh, Even now, I'd probably say I'm more motivated than I was before because of everything going on, and it's so hard to pinpoint. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know what clicked, but something did happen at the end of Street Fighter Five. I was able to win my first online tournament, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. When Street Fighter Six came out, the pro players and basically everyone had been kind of reset. So I took that opportunity to play Street Fighter 6 as much as possible because I knew that any head start will last years. Even though it hasn't even been a year of the game being out, I still feel that the 3 months after release, putting as much effort as I could in there, is affecting me today and will affect me for the rest of my life because I do plan on playing for the rest of my life.
Okay.
If everything goes well.
Oh, so what you're were saying is you were on that crack. Let me just go ahead and admit you were on the crack. You played a
I
little
was
bit of
not.
crack. You
I was so close to playing it though.
okay.
I, I was so close that I had asked for the download. That's how close I was.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
had been offered, "Hey, do you want to play Street Fighter 6?" and I didn't. I was
Okay.
very mad during that time because I didn't play because I wanted to stay like correct. I
Right.
didn't want to taint my skill in any way.
Mm-hmm.
I played the betas even at my locals. I never played the crack. I
Oh,
never did.
what about the demo? Were you grinding that pretty heavily? I mean,
Not really.
okay,
No.
so you just went straight into it, played as much as possible in that first couple of months, and then that's what you think kind of springboards you into your your domination in the scene. Am
Yep.
I getting that correct?
Yep. Exactly.
Dang, that is something, man. I wish that would happen for me. like, like, man, to be that age and then all of a sudden you just, hey, I
Yeah, I
nothing
had time.
like there was no realization. It was, bro, I just played a bunch, and from 5 to 6, I just jumped. That's wild. That's crazy to me to even think about something like that. but
If I could say something, like maybe we should leave this for like later in the discussion. But God has played a major role in how I've improved as a player,
okay, okay.
and has been one of the main one of the main factors. I don't want to say the same phrase again, but has been a key factor in what has also made me very good. I'm gonna look up a synonym for factor. I'm not you kidding. Hold up.
So you're actually looking
Element.
up a synonym factor right now.
Yep. I'm gonna say ingredient, element, component. All right.
Okay.
All right. All right.
All right, moving on. I want to talk. Yeah, bro, I can't. But I want to talk to you about now that you've reached this level. I want to talk to you about your specific match against Punk. Now, to me, what you did now I'm gonna rephrase this. I'm gonna preface this statement before I say that. I mean, he did get you back in a run back, but that CPT, that was a systematic destruction of a player that is of a high caliber level I have never seen before. And so I want to kind of just pick at like your your thoughts going into that matchup. What kind of led to basically that beatdown, because it was not good for that day. And it, and I'm really interested to know what was your mindset going in. Did you have a specific game plan that you were working on? Were you specifically like grinding the Cammy matchup? Or just anything to get some insight behind that specific match that you played with him.
Well, I made sure to read the Bible. That's one of the first things. I have a list on my phone that actually like lists all of the rules that I have to go by before I enter a tournament to make sure I do good in it. Because if I don't follow these rules, even one of them, I'll go into a tournament and not even get out of pool. So I'll go like 1-2 and lose maybe 2-2. It's my phone is literally right there. Hold up.
Okay, I definitely want want to see this. Oh, wait, did we lose you? Wait, we lost you. We lost you. We lost him. All right, I'm gonna go back to myself real quick. So I think he said he went to go. Okay, so you grabbed your
All
phone
right.
back. Are you back? Alrighty.
I got it. So the rules. I have to control my sleep. I need to wake up at least 4 hours before the tournament, as in I go to bed very late and I wake up to play. The second one, I have to be right with God. If I'm not right mentally or spiritually, nothing's going to work. Third one, I have to make sure I eat 2 hours before the tournament. Minimum. As in, I need to make sure that I don't eat before I play, and 2 hours is actually, yeah. I have to just make sure I eat at least 2 hours before, or even later before. Then the fourth one, I have to eat fruits and have juice. There are certain foods that really just make you dumb. I didn't eat fast food for a lot of years because my family, like, they thought it was unhealthy. And also, when they would get it, I'll just be like, it's unhealthy. I'm not going to eat it still. And I'll figure something out. So I would eat eggs. I would make myself food a lot. And because I had never really ate fast food or anything like that, my mind didn't have like any inflammation or anything. Then this year, no, not this year, last year, I ate fast food again. And I felt a complete difference. I felt slow. Foods like Papa John's or McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, anything like that will actually make you dumb. It doesn't allow you to play well. I felt it like night and day. I had felt tired or blurry in a way that I had never felt before. So yeah, food's a big part of this, and fruits are one of the main things that will not cloud your mind.
Dang, so you doing a whole like lifestyle change. That's kind of wild. So, like that's a far cry from what I do. Like I stay up late, eat junk food all the time, and I've gained a couple of pounds over the years because that's all I eat is fast food. But I never really put too much thought in the fact that the stuff you eat, uh, getting a decent rest, that it could be a factor when it comes to the physical things. Now, the spiritual side of things, I really want to hone in on that, because when I was your age, I'm gonna be honest. I am not giving any God any type of glory. I'm not giving God any glory, right? Because I'm 16. I think I know everything, and I and I believe that, hey man, I do everything by my own power, by my own strength. And so for me to see someone like yourself so young have success attributed to God uh is quite fascinating, and I want to understand like more of your reasoning behind it, because I think some people might look at that and say, well, what, you're like 16, what do you probably just grew up in a religious household and you're just kind of repeating exactly what your parents are saying. And so I want to kind of poke a little bit at that and just kind of get understand like why would a 16-year-old like yourself
I
that's
have the
pretty
answer.
pretty much almost well known remove any sort of credit and give most of your success and your credit to God.
Well, what I'm shooting for isn't. I don't really think of credit in the first place. I just want something, and I hope I get it. Or I want something. I try to get it. My goal is to get it. So it's like the journey there, receiving credit for that. I don't really care for that. When or the reason why I'm attributing my victories to God is because it makes me stronger as a player. A lot of players, they're like,
Hold on.
how do I
Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I bet I've
mhm.
bro, what the heck? What is going on? Okay, there we go. We couldn't see you. That was my bad. All right.
so
That was
a lot
definitely
of
my bad. All right, you can go ahead
a lot of
and
players
continue.
or just people in general, they don't realize that being proud of yourself for something is an entry for pride. And you can't win. You can't win with pride. You can't. It leaves a hole because you'll have to be switching between your main life and inside of the game. If you're trying to separate your life into two parts between how you play and how you treat other people, then you're going to end up forgetting your mentality. The only way to get yourself out of a mentality is to forget it. So you're training yourself. Let me have the most prideful attitude going into a fight, and then go out of it, come out of it, and try to forget that. And how do I say this? And go out of that and try to forget that. And along the path, it's really common for players to be swapping between, and they let their personal life bleed into their gaming, and it doesn't work. And they let their gaming bleed into their personal life. For me, I'm not structuring my mentality in that way. It's one of the same. So what else? What else? There's another thing I was going to say. So when it comes to a big victory like beating Punk, I have to attribute it to God, because if I keep any pride within myself and be like, I put in this effort, which is a part of it, but God completely guided me throughout my efforts. My efforts are a speck when it comes to something like this. I have tried to play without God. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I end up in the mentality of I just need to swap. I need to swap. I need to be a complete jerk in the game. I need to be prideful. But with God, there are rules that are set. There are rules like here's one. I don't know where it's from specifically, but if you Google it, you'll find it. Like how do I be fearless in a fight without pride? Well, God tells you to. He says, uh, "Fear of man will prove to be a snare." Well, there you don't need to understand. Oh, why did God choose for that to be there? It's something He said. It's a law. you don't need to be thinking. You don't need to justify why you're fearless. You just are. So yeah.
Hmm. That is very profound. Like some deep wisdom from someone that is uh younger than me.
Oh
um
shoot.
because I was around your age when I first started following God. Well, I would say it was about like 17, but I never had that type of mindset when I was like your age, right? It was God revealed himself to me. I was I was doing whatever I was doing, and then because I had grew up in like a Christian home, and my parents would take me to church like almost every day of the week. So like there would be times where we'd be there like almost every day of the week, and I absolutely hated it, and I was going to pretty much leave the faith whenever I got ready to leave, go and go to college, but God had different plans, and so I've never really brought that aspect of myself into the space that much. And to see someone like yourself, like young, and doing that, it is really encouraging for me because, like, dang, man, that's crazy. Like, I wouldn't do that when I was 17, and you're like, well, and I wouldn't say I don't know if I, I like to think it's a bit of an effort between both um your work and then God giving you like certain things like has kind of shaped you in a way to where you're able to be able to play the game because I don't necessarily like attributing everything to God. I think there is a a thing where it's like he gives you he in Proverbs it talks about he gives people the ability to get wealth, and so that's how I kind of see it, where he kind of sustains you and allows you to you be in your right mind, and then you go out there and you do that with his sustaining and with his grace that you're able to do that. But that that is really commendable, especially for someone your age. And like as I like I said before, um, so some people and I do want to kind of figure out where your faith comes from, like specifically the root of your faith, like where it came from. Did it was it more of like I don't know, God revealing himself to you and then you kind of had like this moment, or was it one of those things where uh, like myself that you did grow up in a church and it kind of like your parents were it it's kind of instilled that in you.
My parents have, I think, tried to instill it in me, but it didn't really work in terms of I did it because of them, or I grew into the faith because of them. Even now, currently, although this is a bit personal, we're not going to church. It's a big flaw in our family. We're not going to church. I'm not even going to church. I get on these calls. I mean I don't have like a license or anything. So I, I kind of even thinking about that. I didn't even remember what you asked. Like,
Oh, more so about like your like what whether it was like your faith or your parents' faith. But I think I kind of get what you're saying. So like your family doesn't even go to church, and so that to me that makes it even more commendable that you're able to stand on your faith despite like your family not being in a church community, which is really profound for me that you're able to do something like that, especially in a space where not many people are willing to say that it's all ego driven and in a competitive environment. And like I said, I definitely commend that, and I would like to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing and keep giving giving God the glory, whether you win or whether you lose. Uh, you keep giving him the glory, man, because that is something that um that God sees, and that's very very commendable. And I wish and I hope hope you're able to find like a community to where you can grow within your faith and still and still be able to represent God in your later part of your life while still being able to do this. And so that's something I definitely want to encourage you with, and I want to give you the congrats on, because that to me is just absolutely amazing that a 16-year-old has some wild success, beats one of the greats, but doesn't even want to take credit for him. And so I really, 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 really want you to continue on with that. But moving on, I see you're wearing a RYU shirt, and I have a question. You
Got
say
like 5.
5 of them. You're like, what?
Hold up, hold up. I got
Okay.
another one
Okay,
ready.
so you got another one. You're gonna pull out another one. Oh, that's
Go.
Street Fighter 4. So you got Ryu Akuma from Street Fighter 4.
I got the one that I wore for that CPT picture.
Yeah, that one. The Street Fighter 6 Ryu shirt.
Let me see if I have another one here. It just keeps on going.
And the Ryu Street Fighter 5 shirt.
Bro.
So you have every design. of Ryu.
I think I have more. I have more. Hold up.
Okay, so you got another.
Oh yeah. I got 2 more. Check this out. It says sure you can.
Oh, so that's just a standard Shoryuken shirt. Okay.
This one is dirty.
That's pretty.
It's nasty. It's nice. Like there's food on it. I didn't
So-
even land it in the hammer. I just threw it.
So
All right.
you're definitely are a Ryu fan, and let me ask you, why Ryu? I mean, you're young, but you picked
Because I was tricked.
the most basic vanilla boring character. Because I didn't pick Ryu. I mean, obviously I did whenever I was like super young, but I was more like a Ken guy from the original World Warriors. I was more like a Ken, and they're like a Chun, but Ryu, bro, he's so basic. Why, why, why Ryu,
Learn the
and why do
fundamentals.
you play him?
I didn't want to delay my struggle. So people said he was top tier at launch. I didn't believe it, but I still used him. Then using him, I was like, this is a really good way to learn fundamentals and to push myself. So yeah, it's I've seen compared to a lot of Luke or Ken players, my fundamentals have allowed me to get to this point. And that struggle, that excess struggle, has allowed me to get to this point and pinpoint my weaknesses as a player a lot clearer. For example, if you play Luke, it's like, oh, I should have crouched a medium punch there. If you play Ken, maybe I should have used heavy dragon lash to catch them off guard. With Ryu, I don't have those gimmicks to cloud really what I could have done better. The only thing I'd say Ryu has that's kind of like is that if in Burnout, when the opponent's in Burnout, if you do stand heavy punch, DRC overhead, there's no gap. So that's like a real 50-50, and I can mix in a crouch light kick, and there's still no gap. I think that's probably the most gimmicky thing Ryu has, and most prominent in a lot of my fights. It's just like a crazy gimmick. So yeah, he's basically taught me the fundamentals of the game. He has a bit of every single character inside of him, even JP, because of his light Hashogeki being a feint. In the same mindset where it's like hold parry, the opponent will try to hold their parry and drive rush in, stuff like that. I've been able to get a wide view of the entire cast just from one character. They did a very good job with his design. He could definitely be stronger, but they did do a very good job.
So fundamental. That's wild. You out here trying to play fundamentals. You know what? Whenever I'm telling you this, because I was not trying to play no fundamentals. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm trying to pick the characters that allow me to. Well, I mean, I can play. I can play a little neutral. I do like playing a little neutral sometimes, but I'm trying to pick the characters that the minute I touch you, oh, it's a mix up. You see, I like to touch you once and get do the little fundamental neutral dance, touch you once, and then go from there and make you guess. But I never expected that you're like, yeah, fundamentals. I want to learn fundamentals, so I'm going to play Ryu, and that's the only reason I'm going to play Ryu is because of fun. Do you actually even kind of enjoy his design or anything like that, or is it just strictly the fundamentals?
I love his design. He's so cool. His combos are insanely stylish. It's so great that he has the Hashogeki upgrade with his Denjin charge.
Hmm.
It allows so much player expression to be able to decide if you want Oki or if you want to do like Fireball Drive Rush offense or throw a Fireball, Denjin charge, even just do a combo and then Denjin charge immediately. There's so much player expression with Ryu. I feel that I can really see myself improving as a player very clearly and expressing myself as a player very clearly with him. Because if I'm fighting one player, I can play a certain way. I fight another player, I can play completely different and still win. There is no direct game plan, or not game plan. There is no direct combo routes that you really want to go for, or everything's on the table. Maybe there are things that you are going to lean for towards more, but still everything is on the table. You kind of get what I mean.
Okay, gotcha. So, I mean, I know you kind of touched on this a bit before earlier when you kind of gave your thoughts about Ryu and how you feel like he's a has a piece of every part of the cast. But I want to get like your exact opinion on where you feel he is like in relation to the cast. Maybe I don't know, put him on a tier list. Where is he at? Because I've never heard someone say that Ryu has a piece of everyone, and that's a very interesting way at looking at it. So I'm pretty sure that you you might have him different valued differently than most people, especially with the way you think about how he is and how his tools function within the game.
Well, firstly, he's not bottom five. He's definitely not bottom five. He has way too many tools to be bottom five. His neutral is amazing. Mm, I put him like what's below A tier? I forgot, bro. I do not know tier lists like that. But
So
I think he's either low A tier or directly in the center. Like I have no. I
so
forgot,
A
bro. I
minus
forgot.
or B plus, is that where you probably put him around? One of
B
those?
plus, A minus. Yep.
Okay.
There's a lot of matchups of his that have completely shifted. For example, DJ is an even matchup for Ryu. Ryu goes 5-5 versus DJ. Before it was kind of accepted that Marissa beat Ryu,
Hmm.
and now Ryu beats Marissa. So that's a big one. What's another example? Hold up. I'm going to see my matchup list with Ending Walker. He sent it to me. So I'm going to look at that to just reference some of the matchups that have flip flopped like that. Oh, he beats Jury. He beats Jury.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that, but I don't know. I still haven't investigated fully that matchup to the point where I'd be like, but I it's pretty difficult for the character.
Mm, I think he might be even with Cammy. I'm not sure about it. I think it's slightly losing, but if you go into the fight knowing the player, then it's even because Ryu has the tools to exploit a player, but not. It's weird to say, but like Ryu has the tools to exploit a player, but not the matchup.
I mean, we did discuss a little bit about that and how certain people felt that Cammy actually loses that matchup. Uh, e- I mean, it's tough, especially see what you did the Punk. I know you and Indian Walker actually kind of talked about it, and uh, he, uh, and I believe you said that he changed his mind a bit after playing you, and so that's kind of where you are now with the 5-5, because of that chat. If I'm not mistaken.
Yep, I'd say yeah, B plus, A minus. Even against some of the top tiers like JP, I talked with him about that. Ending Walker is the best player in the world at perfect pairing fireballs and then drive rushing. So that skill going into the JP matchup, it definitely shows. Ryu has the best sweep in the game, in my opinion, and he can perfect parry a spike and drive rush almost full screen into a sweep. Ending Walker's good at the perfect parry, so he gets that situation a lot. I don't think it's exactly full screen, but almost. Okay, not full screen. I don't know the term. From a bit further than round start, a bit further away from round start, Ryu can perfect parry, drive rush, sweep versus JP, and that skill really, really, really will carry versus in that matchup versus JP. For example, one free knockdown in something that's telegraphed in the matchup is huge because it's hard for a JP to go one match without using a single spike. That's such a common occurrence that it's almost guaranteed that that's one extra knockdown for every single match that you go or that you're going to go into. So I've been applying that a bit, and I definitely see Ending Walker's vision with JP being a 5-5 matchup for Ryu.
Mm,
So
J-
I don't know if I did a great job at explaining that, but do you get it?
yeah, I get it. I think that is a very interesting take about Ryu versus JP being 5-5, and so that actually was something I kind of did want to talk about. I mean, I guess we did talk about that right now. Was the like what the matchups that you feel he did well, and so that mm, hmm, that's something definitely to think about. Uh, now speaking of matchups, I want
Mm-hmm.
to get your opinion on this. I mean, because I mean everyone asks us about this. I'm asking you to make this exclusive, because I think there are more characters that are good, but for now, I want you to give me your top 5 characters, and I mean, I guess you can order them, whatever you want, or maybe not order them, but yeah, just your top 5 characters.
It's hard for me to list the top five since I don't have a large view of the entire matchup lists. For example, if I played Ryu and I played Lily, then I can be like, these characters are top five. If I played Ryu and I played JP, I can be like, these characters. Or I can list the stuff very easily. But because I only play Shotos, I'm going to give a very Shoto answer. It's going to be Guile, Chun-Li, Cammy. Dang, this is hard. This is hard. I got to pick. Okay, JP, number one. Second, Luke. Third, Chun-Li.
I
It's
mean,
hard, bro. It's
it's
hard.
tough. I know, because the reason why I like to expand it to maybe eight or so characters, but I wanted to put you in the hot seat and specifically make it 5. You have to pick 5 characters. You don't get to say maybe this character is top 5. This one, no. 5 characters that are top 5. So you said JP Chun, Luke.
Okay, JP, Chun-Li, Guile,
Okay.
Luke, and DJ.
Okay. Yeah. I, I think that's a solid top 8. I mean, top 5.
Top eight, top eight, top eight.
I, I really think in this game there are more than just like the top 5 characters that are really good and that can win major events. I mean, we're starting to see that with a lot of the characters that are a bit under them. So we have characters like, I don't know, like Jury, Cammy, those characters that people would consider are like slightly under them. And so I think the list is from the top 5 to like maybe like the top 12 or whatever. It's not really too far off. And so uh, but and so that's why it makes it hard to create a top 5 list. But if I had a top 5, because I think that's a solid one. I think mine would be obviously JP, which is really weird. The character doesn't have as many representatives in the cup, but I still think he's good because of amnesia, and you have to guess on that. I think DJ is broken. DJ,
I agree.
uh, the, the Chun thing. I know most people have her in top 5. I honestly don't know. I think she's good to win, and she's up there. But for me, I don't know if she's like top 5. But it really doesn't matter because I think at the end of the day, she's just good enough to win. Like I said, um, for sure, Luke. Uh, I have I would have Ken in there. I think Ken's really good too. And yeah, I guess you could throw Chun in there because I yeah, I would agree. I think she's a tier above Jury and Cammy, but I don't know exactly where I would place her within that top 5. So like mine is not really ordered. It's just I think these are the characters that are like the 5 best, but the list expands out further than just the top 5. I would say about like the top 12. But moving on, I want to ask you about like the current state that you feel the meta is in, and like what do you think about it? I know you have your top 5. Like how do you feel about it? Like just where the game is right now, like the meta is.
The meta is just Drive Rush, Crouch Medium Punch, Buffered into Drive Rush. Fireballs are super weak. JP's a set play character. His fireball isn't really a fireball, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a really unforgiving game. I think backwalking in neutral is too strong. They need to nerf backwalking, make it slower, and also reduce corner carry to kind of like even that out.
Hmm. That's really interesting because I think backwalking is not that strong in this game for me personally due to the fact that you can just do low forward in the drive rush and it doesn't matter whether it hits or not. O- you get your if it hits you get your combo. If it doesn't hit you get your throw situation, your 50-50, and so you kind of have to guess. But that's really interesting to hear that you think backwalking is really strong. So I want to like dig further in that. Why do you think that?
Relating to what you had said, I think that low forward DRC is what makes backwalking super strong because you are able to not commit in neutral and press a poke that will lead into offense. That's the main weakness. If you had to, let's say, walk forward and then you can DRC, then the DRC will be telegraphed and counterable to a certain degree. But because you can not commit and start offense, that's where the problem is. It doesn't really match. It's like, imagine you bring your opponent to the corner, and because they did low forward DRC, they were not committing. They were not committing to anything other than the low forward. Then they put you at risk of you being back thrown into the corner. That's where the real problem is. If they could put, like, somehow nerf the backwalking, I would say just make it not as fast, then that situation where they have to commit will be at least a bit more prevalent. So then they can't just press pause on neutral and then do a crouch medium punch DRC or crouch medium kick DRC to just win, or put the risk of your opponent, or put the reward of your opponent's offense in your hands. Like, kind of just take it, if you get what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
Excuse me. Oh shoot. So it's kind of cheap that you can backwalk and then use all the space that your opponent has gained against them.
Okay, I see. That's why. So you think so it's tied to low forward drive rush. Okay, I can kind of see that why it would be like that.
I just saw the stream. You have SpongeBob bed sheets.
Hey, don't talk about the SpongeBob bed sheets. They got me through some very very tough times, you know. They are my schooling years.
It's kind of fun. But they're fire.
Oh yeah, facts. You know, it's the SpongeBob, man.
I gotta get a poster.
I'm a fan of the sponge. That's what it is, man. I used to watch SpongeBob a lot. I mean, I pretty much almost watched every episode from like the first couple seasons, like multiple times, because I would just sit there and watch them and watch the reruns over and over again. But back on topic. Drive rush, low forward. Okay. Do you feel right now at this moment that the meta is I mean, you gave what you think the meta is, and I would agree with what you would say in regard to that, and I do also. Now I can kind of see where you're coming from with the whole backwalking thing, and I can see how that could be really really strong, with especially in tandem with the low forward and drive rush. Do you feel as if it is reached its level that it could currently get, like the highest level that it can currently get? Or do you feel as if there's maybe some more room to grow? Because I feel for some reason this game is specifically, it's been out for less than a year. What is it, like 8 months? But for me, it feels as if this game has been here for like 2 years. And it feels like the way the game is, it's evolved so fast. And I was around for the earlier part of 5, and it didn't happen like this to where I feel it is right now. I felt like we didn't start getting good at 5 till about maybe 2 years into the game, and around, I want to say around Evo 2017. That's where I think the highest level of Street Fighter 5 was achieved with Punk and Tokido. But right now, I just feel that we've capped out where we could go in terms of the meta, and that unless more characters come out or like a patch drops, the game is what it is, and it's going to be like that for a bit. But I want to know your thoughts on that.
I think that the meta is not capped yet. There are still a couple of things that the US community that is not has not incorporated. For example, holding parry and neutral and then drive rushing. That's actually a really strong neutral tool, even offensively, to walk your opponent down and then perfect parry and neutral. That's something that hasn't been adapted just yet. Another thing is drive reversal. It hasn't been explored a lot. And lastly, I'd probably say perfect parry, a drive rush, and then sweep. Not a lot of players do that. That's a mechanical skill that needs to be developed as fast as possible for the game to go forward. Because then people are going to be like, oh yeah, there's a risk, or JPs will be like, there's a risk for me doing a spike from this far away because the opponent can perfect parry and then drive rush and punish me. That type of risk completely reshapes how the meta is, or will reshape how the meta is, and it hasn't happened yet.
Mm, I see. So you think there's more stuff to the discovered in regards to the use of the parry mechanic and dealing with specific things when it comes to that. Okay. I can for sure see that. Um, like I said, I think even with that, I think certain things wouldn't change in my opinion in terms of like character placements. I still think JP would still be really good, but it's just he can't do like his mindless offense stuff or like his mindless zoning stuff. That would like change, but he would just have to think a little bit more. I think DJ would still be good. I think uh Chen would still be good. And so that's kind of where I would be at in terms of like where I would think in meta. I like those small optimizations. I don't think will come until maybe year three, probably when people will start doing stuff like that, or maybe it won't come because maybe they might make a adjustment to the mechanics, which is something I want to get your thoughts on, like the mechanics. I know a lot of people have had their gripes and their issues with the mechanics and what they are. How do you currently feel about the mechanics, and what do you think about them, and if anything, what would you change if you could?
What I will do is, I feel like the drive gauge could be altered. Remember how in the past iterations of Street Fighter, how there was a selection or a skill set selection tool before the match, like V skill, V trigger, ultra combo, ism, stuff like that, has not been added to Street Fighter 6 yet. If I could change something or change how the drive system works, I would adjust the damage for characters like Marissa by giving them a second type of drive gauge. For example, let's say red drive gauge. Red drive gauge. It's 4 bars instead of 6. And characters like Marissa that have high damage,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, characters like Marissa that have high damage,
Mm-hmm.
they have their damage locked to the red drive gauge, and if they want to use the green drive gauge, now their damage is nerfed. In the red drive gauge, EX attacks can cost only one thing. Everything can be adjusted so that so that it's still similar to the green drive gauge, but in terms of being punish countered, when you get punish countered, it's going to take away a lot more. That's when it actually matters. If you get what I mean. For example, in the red drive gauge, a drive rush or a DRC will only cost 1.5 bars.
Okay.
Something like that. You kind of get what I mean. So
I,
it will change the combo routes and force players to think like, oh yeah, I have this really high damage now. I still have access to all of my moves, but if I get punish countered, which is like really, really, really different than just getting hit straight. Now, if I make a mistake in terms of my own actions, then the punishment is harder.
Okay, so you're saying that from the red drive gauge, it would be a if you tap into that, you're able to get punish countered. If I'm not mistaken, like anything you do, even if you're say you get beated or something, you like you put yourself in a punish counter state. If is that correctly? Am I hearing that correctly? But you have higher damage.
Now, it would be that your drive gauge is 4 bars, right? Your drive gauge is 4 bars,
Okay,
and an EX attack, instead of costing 2 like it does in green, it would cost 1,
right. Okay,
right? And that would be adjusted throughout like drive parry and everything,
okay.
so that it will essentially match the original drive gauge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now that the reason why it's 4 instead of 6 is so that when a punish counter happens, it strips away one entire thing. So instead of it strips away when someone gets hit by a punish counter, it will strip away one drive bar, which is 1 out of 6. In the red drive gauge, it will strip away 1 out of 4, meaning that you're a lot closer to burnout than usual.
Okay, so the so you have 4 dry bars, but then you have 2 dry bars that are set aside for red, and then the 4 dry bars those deplete as normal, and then you get into burnout. But the red dry bars are separate.
No, no, no. It would be like a different mechanic, like
Okay.
completely. You swap between like your character can pick
Oh, okay,
green
okay,
drive bar or red drive bar.
okay,
You get?
and then the red drive bar that would have less drive gauges. So
Mhm,
okay. Oh, okay, but it would deal out more damage.
mhm,
Oh, okay, I get it now. That's interesting. So a red and a green drive bar. That sounds like a good idea. So you can do more damage, but have less drive bar.
mhm,
But you can have more drive bar, but less damage. Dang.
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Th-
characters like Marissa and Ryu, that would really help balance the game. For example, Marissa, you can nerf her, which I think that she deserves a nerf. Or a lot of top tier characters, you can nerf them by doing things like that, where oh yeah, now you are just punished a bit harder when it's a punish counter. So characters like Marissa would have their green drive gauge just be their base character and nerfed, and now they have to make a decision for the red drive gauge if they want to keep their old damage. And for other characters, for example, like Jury, where EXs aren't really spent, this would make a huge, huge difference and allow them to get proper damage in this game,
yep, Jury Boys, let's
while
go.
also just leaving their original character the same.
Mm.
So that in a matchup where you want to hit hard, you will. And in a matchup where you need a lot of drive gauge, you'll have the drive gauge.
Dang
That
that.
type of mechanic would fix this game completely. And they could even do a blue drive gauge, which is instead of the drive gauge being 6 bars, it'll be 8 or 7. And your damage is a lot more nerfed, or how do I say this? Like in the blue drive gauge, your EX attacks cost a lot more. They'll cost 3 instead. Something behind that. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe the blue one could be your drive gauge is a lot larger. It's 7 bars now, but when you get hit by a punish counter, you lose 1.5. So you have more bars, but now when you get punish countered, it's gonna hit you harder. It's basically the same thing that I described with the red drive gauge, the blue drive gauge. So I don't know if there's even a point of adapting on that even further. I don't think so. They could also do separate super mechanics. For example, you can pick between a super tool set 1 and a super tool set 2. So everyone will keep all of their level 3s and everything right now, right? And then they'll
Mm-hmm.
just add another another 3 supers that you can pick between. Like, for example, Ryu, he has level 1 fire, which is a fireball. Level 2, the Shin Hashogeki, and level 3, the Shin Shoryuken. it could be altered so that it's going to be the level 1 is now the Shinshuyuken, but not cinematic. The level 2 is an install, and the level 3 is the Shinku Hadoken, the fireball.
Mm, so
So
you,
like a
okay.
different super tool set.
Oh, so you're saying you could switch around your supers. So instead of the level 3 being the Shin Shoryu, you can have the Hadoken be the level 3, and then the level 1 be the Shin Short.
Mhm.
That okay, man. That is a lot of thought behind a lot of the changes that you want. Because I never really got into the nitty gritty or the details about stuff like that. I'm assuming they are going to add an extra mechanic, but the way you phrased it was just s- so perfect and
Sure.
not like super perfect, but it was good. It was good. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, dang, that would actually make sense. And if they did it, I don't think I would be mad.
I want to be on the Capcom development team. I'm not even kidding. That's been one of my dreams. The thing is that I'm a competitive player, so I can only really just suggest this type of stuff. But yeah, that would fix this game a lot. It would also prevent players that rely on the most cheap mechanics from being too good from nothing. A
Okay.
player that I would imagine being hit by this, I think Noah will be able to get past this very quickly, but he'll have to be more solid fundamentally. A lot of players they don't like fighting Noah because he relies on the system mechanics a lot. I think fundamentally he has that potential, but because of the state of the game, he doesn't need to lean towards the idea of like, oh yeah, neutral this. He'll drive rush a lot. A player like Noah, I think it will demonstrate his skill if this change was made, but it would also cut off a lot of what he relies on now. So he would be affected, I think, in a in a positive way in terms of how players look at him, but negatively affected in terms of now he has to change the way that he plays. If you get
Mm,
what I mean.
okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. So you're more on the other side of that the mechanics are stronger than the actual characters themselves, right?
Mm, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I'm leaning towards the mechanics being very strong.
Mm. Okay, so the way I see it personally is I think the mechanics are actually kind of fine. I think for what they have, I think every mechanic has a specific purpose. It serves a specific use. Yes, even drive reversal. Some people don't like to hear that, but I still think drive reversal has a specific use. And I think if they were to like maybe buff drive reversal, which is something that people have been asking for, I think it would make the game honestly not as exciting because the minute someone does low forward in the drive rush, you're instantly going to do drive reversal to get them off you. And so I think it would really kind of hinder the perfect flow between offense and defense, which I think the game currently has right now. And so I so lean towards that. I think the characters enable are more so than enablers than the system mechanics themselves. Because there's just certain characters that yes they just yes they're good, but they just work better within the confines of this game because of their toolkit their toolkit. So like JP just works really well because of his toolkit and not being able to interact with him, and then him being able to essentially force you with into neutral because of amnesia on your knockdown. So you're always scared on whether to do something because of the you don't know when the amnesia is coming. And so I think those tools like that they make things worse because if a character has something like that, then it's oh, I can start doing everything else. I can start, parrying. I can start, jumping everything. So they open up everything to where then the system mechanics become excess on top of what they already had. If they just had that and they didn't have the system mechanics, I don't think it would be as egregious. And so I don't. That's why I'm more so on the side that I think the characters are mostly the problem, and I think the mechanics are pretty sound. But I do really like your idea for like the change in the mechanics. And so that would be like a nerf in terms of the mechanics. Uh, would you have any nerf for characters? I know you said Marissa, and I know
Yeah.
people aren't going to like this, but I agree. I agree with you. I think I'm sorry. I 100% agree.
A character that could be nerfed with this change.
I think I no no I'm just talking about in general without like your because you suggested the mechanics there's but I just want to know if the mechanics weren't going to change, which I don't think they're going to change until maybe year 3.
Next year.
Yeah, right now. So it'll probably we're still going to have the same thing, and then I think whenever they do arcade edition or super street whatever they're going to call it, that's when we're going to get new mechanics. And so um I like I said, I agree with the Marissa, but what other characters do you think need some
Overall,
adjustment?
I what I will change is nerfing crouch medium punch in neutral across the board for characters like Ryu, Ken, and Luke. Crouch medium punch has a lot of active frames and great disjoints for Shotos. Even JP, he has a lot of disjoints on his crouch medium punch. That should be removed. And in terms of add more recovery to all of these moves, including Cammy's crouch medium punch, everyone needs their crouch medium punch completely nerfed. And that would affect characters like Luke a lot more than others because it's an essential part of his game plan in terms of countering things. So it
Mhm.
would strip away something that's crucial for the top tiers and nerf a tool that isn't as necessary for the lower tiers. That would balance everything out a lot better. And so for JP, of course, he needs to be nerfed. I think that if they're gonna nerf him, they should nerf amnesia so it only triggers on throws, or that he,
Mhm.
for example, mid stage, if it's triggered by a jab or a throw, JP steps back and he can't get a combo. In the corner, if JP activates his amnesia on your jab, then you should be pushed a bit further apart because he gets a free mix up on a jab. That's like cheap. So lessen the reward on amnesia being triggered by a jab. I think amnesia is good as it is in terms of like what it does. I'd say just nerf it. In how do I say this? Amnesia is good in terms of it triggers on everything. It's an EX reversal.
Yeah.
They should nerf it so that if someone does a jab into it the trigger isn't as strong. More distance between the players, maybe more delay before the spike activates. Because when JP parries or when JP triggers amnesia on a grab, he punishes you. The combo starts off of a jab. So if they delayed the trigger on a how do I say this? If they delayed the amount of time it takes for the spike to trigger, JP will be nerfed in a way where the jabs would be stronger against him.
Okay, so
You get what I mean? You get what I mean?
nerf the bomb timing. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
what about
Chudley.
none not well Chun, but also for amnesia, if you do jab, that it goes away. So like the regular one, so the EX one would be the same. What about that? So if you jab him and then you hit him, the
It dissipates.
yeah it dissipates.
That would also be a really great change. Yep. That could be the change instead of what I just suggested. It just dissipates if you hit him. Or if he blocks. That's another big one. If he blocks, then it should dissipate.
Yeah, because I think that's just the easiest way to solve it is allow it. You can't have it be as strong as it is right now, and it beat both throws and normals, and like there's nothing. and even if you trigger it with normals, certain characters have to do like this weird, goofy stuff to get it off them in order just to have a chance, right? So I know with Jury, I would have to do like backdash, hold parry, and then like jump back roundhouse just to have a chance. And so I think that's wild for me that they even put put a move like that in the game. But yeah, and so oh, bro, JP's a
For
okay.
JP's level 2, give it punish counter frames on activation, so you can drive rush sweep it.
Okay, so okay, so more recovery on the level 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
It's crazy that it doesn't have punish counter frames. That's like you can't even punish it. And the ghosts will still come at you.
yeah, yeah. It is
I think
very
you can
very
hit him and you'll
yeah.
trade, and then he'll just get a combo.
Yeah, he's something. And so I moving on from JP. I know you bitching Chun. You think she needs to be nerfed as well as well?
Yep. Her low forward is too good. Her walk speed is extremely high, so her walk speed needs to be nerfed. That's kind of it. She's a very strong, well-rounded character. I would say nerf her light fireball a little bit by making the charge a lot longer, because that's kind of free offense. It's Guile level fireball drive rush, and that will really be it. She's a well balanced character. She has a lot of great tools, but there's nothing really wrong about it because her damage output isn't too insane. Sometimes it is, but it's not that crazy. So,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then going on to the other ones, DJ, I personally feel that Ryu stands a great chance, but for the other characters that don't stand a good chance against him, that are neutral revolved, I would say to make DJ sway -4 on block, so he can't do it from too close, or even -6, so that it can be punished by a light kick or in crouch medium punches. So the DJ kind of has to think about when he does it, because he can do it from really close and get you off of a jab for a full damage combo.
Oh yeah, it is. It's really insane how you can do it, and it's very hard to even punish it, even up close. You have to be really up close on him in order for you to be able to punish the Sobat. And so yeah,
Oh, sway like sway backward and the kick, the low kick. You know?
yeah. I think Sway would probably need to be touched too, for sure. That definitely needs to be touched because he's just doing whatever and like doing negative frames and then swaying it in. You're getting punish counter, and that kind of sucks as a player to have that character just do stuff and then get rewarded for that. Uh, So
What else? What else?
yeah, okay. What about characters that you think need a little bit of help? I I, I think there are certain characters that I personally wouldn't buff because know I feel like I know what they are in terms of how they are as a character, and if you buff those characters, though, the game would just not be fun. One of those characters for me is is Lily. I already don't like fighting her, but I think if they give her the right buff, she's gonna be a problem. But like, what are some characters that you think could could get a little help? Not like Super
Kimberly.
Tomb. Kim.
Sorry,
Okay.
I cut you off.
No,
But
no, you're good.
Kimberly and Jamie. Kimberly, she has great corner carry. She has good tools, but she doesn't have solid pokes. I'd say that they should give her a better crouch medium kick in terms of like distance, so that it's a bit like maybe give it a bit more recovery, but make it go forward. And nerf her stand medium kick a tiny bit. I think her stand medium kick is too strong. Her low conversions are insanely good. That's If you try to do DPOS, stop a Kimberly, you'll get hit low. So that's a huge problem. I would give Kimberly more distance on her crouch medium kick and maybe not even make it a low, make it a mid.
So you're thinking about nerfing that, but buffing her in other areas, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Because that's one of her weaknesses, like no pokes, and one of her strengths, which is her DR drive rush offense, just isn't good. I think the reason why they didn't give her good pokes is because her DRC offense is too good, and they don't want to take away something as crucial as a low forward. But I think that they should take away the low property on her low forward. It's crazy, but like take it away and make it a real poke. She still has her crouch light kick to catch people backwalking, and maybe even just give her a new normal with her heavy kick instead of all of this complex stuff. Maybe just give her a new normal that is a good poke. Jamie, let him start off at one drink, and that's it. If they were to apply proper system mechanic changes, then or not that. If they were to apply all of the things that I was talking about in terms of nerfing or buffing, then the game would be balanced right there. To make it even more balanced and more engaging, the red drive gauge idea will definitely fix this game. Uh, if the red drive gauge change was made alone, then these issues would probably not be that much of a problem because you can buff characters very easily. Mm, hard to say, but yeah.
I do like that red drive gauge idea. I'm gonna have to write it down. That's a new video for me. Red drive gauge.
Oh, shoot.
That
Let me
these
do it with you.
these two these are the new mechanics that Street Fighter should add to their game. Red drive gauge, blue drive gauge, and I think that would make a very dope video. That would be really cool.
Make
It's
sure to give me credit, and I would love to work on the video with you.
I mean, it's on the stream, so you definitely got credit already. But if I do make that video, I would I would definitely have you. Well, actually, I would probably just cut this up and then make it into a video. So that would be that. Or I don't know. What I do? No, I'll do an official video and be like, hey, these are some things that I would change. These are some things I could change in Street Fighter Six that would be really cool. Because that's a. I don't want to say it's $1 million idea, but that's a really like that is a
It's a
really good.
$1 million idea.
It's $1 million.
It literally is. It literally is. All right, so I'm gonna go eat some food in a bit. If there's
Okay.
anything else that we can do
Yeah.
to kind of conclude this,
Yeah.
let's do it now.
So uh I really appreciate. Oh no, I'll save the appreciation to a little bit, but I do want to ask you just a couple of final questions that are just. I guess you just call it miscellaneous. Uh, you mentioned Endon Walker. I'm assuming. I'm assuming that he's probably like one of your favorite players to watch. But like currently, who are your favorite players to watch in terms of uh gameplay and being able to take and learn from them.
Angry Bird, Ending Walker, and myself. I like watching myself play because I get to learn. I'm losing today. I need to study a player, and I see what one of these replay vultures upload my fights, and I'm like, hey, this guy's kind of cool. And I study myself to make sure that if there's any special idea that I may have missed or forgotten, that I can incorporate it into my game plan again.
I I'm at a loss for words for that. I, I'm not gonna lie.
I like watching myself fight. It's cool.
Are you do you watch
It's
basketball?
nope.
Okay, so you don't know anything about basketball, right? Okay, well, there's a basketball player by the name of Paul George. Probably one of the best two-way guards or two-way basketball players on offensive defense in in the game right now. And so he has his podcast and he was talking about how he watches his own he would go back and watch his own highlights to watch it to remind himself how nice he was. And so when you said that, I instantly thought about that.
It's exactly what I'm doing.
I'm not gonna lie, I might have to go back and watch some of my old highlights because when I look at some of the stuff that I was doing in five, and then I'm like, man, dang, my six performances, they're kind of struggling. Maybe I might need to go back to the well real quick, fetch some of the old tapes out, sit there and be like, man, dang, just like a couple of months ago, I was absolutely elite. Let me go back to that level.
Yeah, I have to do that because of shifting how I play a lot. I shift how I play a lot. So I watch my own fights to set a baseline of my skill and return back to that whenever I need to, but still making sure that other areas are explored.
Okay. But okay, so one final question. I know you alluded to this um really earlier, and that you plan on playing for how long do you plan on playing? Like
The
like
rest of my life,
legit.
until I'm rich enough to start a garden and just have fruits. I like fruits, so that's that's like my end goal. I'm rich enough so that I can have a very, very, very nice garden.
So that's it. Just the garden.
Yep.
That's your long-term goal, right? I'm playing
Yep.
Street Fighter till I'm rich enough to where I can have my own garden.
Yep.
So so once you get that, you're just gonna fade off into the distance. You're not gonna be heard from anyone. You're just gonna be like, well, I had my fun, but I have my garden. Is that what's going to
Oh
happen?
shoot. Oh shoot. I think I'll still play a bit and it'll be really cool, but yeah.
I mean,
I gotta be rich from playing those, not rich from other areas. The goal of this game is to become rich enough to create a garden. My goal in life is to start the garden, but I won't be satisfied with the garden until I can see that the garden had come from Street Fighter, where it's like a million, $2 million garden where
mm,
tourists come, so something like that. Or there's a lot of nurseries here in Florida like that, so I would want my own.
dang,
Literally, like not too far from where I live, there are a lot of nurseries.
man, that is an actual bar. I like that. He said, I want to retire and that. Okay. So you want to use the prize money that you get. Dang. That's I respect it. I respect that. That's good. So, that's good that you have a long term goal for um where you want your career to go. But um in terms of like school, do you have anything like going to school? Now like I know you're going to school right now or doing school, but like college, do you have any plans to go to college, or are your plans just to kind of skip college and
I'm already in college.
oh wait, what?
I'm doing dual enrollment.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
So you're you're in dual enrollment right now. So do you have plans to get a degree, like in a 4-year degree, or is it just
Yep.
the community college degree that you're getting with your classes right now?
I'm trying to become an engineer and computer science. Like I want to say I want to major both. Is that even allowed? I want to do both. Computer science and engineering.
You you might be able to major in one and then minor in the other. and do that because I had a major in computer science. Because I have a degree. I had a major in computer science and minored in math. And so, okay, so you have long-term plans for education. You love to see it. I kind of, a little bit hesitant because I have my own thoughts about the current education system and how it is, but just make sure that uh, if that's what you want, you go at it to make sure that you go into university. And number one, you don't forget God, and number two, you have you go in there without any debt. So try to have like grants and scholarships, and make sure you have that because you do not want to have debt after college. And so that would be my advice to you. And I look forward to to hopefully seeing you, uh, if, what was the word?
I'm gonna be
Achieve your
mayor of
dreams.
Florida.
Okay, achieve your dreams. That's what I was trying to think. I was like, wait, what is the word that I'm thinking? I'm thinking if it's on the top of my tip of my tongue, but I can't think of it. Achieve your dreams, and I hope the Lord will make you prosperous in everything that you do. And so, um, it's been good chatting with you. I had a man, honestly, a blast. The time kind of did fly by. We talked, we talked about a lot of stuff. Um, you have some very interesting ways about thinking about stuff, especially when it comes to the game, and I can really appreciate someone that brings what you bring to the table and to the scene. And yeah, before we go, tell the people where they could follow you at.
At Paladin1019 on Twitter, Paladin850_YT on YouTube. I'm setting up a Twitch. It's Paladin850 on Twitch.
Okay, no kick.
I'm no kick, no nothing. I'm gonna start Instagram and TikTok soon. That stuff is to come. I
Oh,
mainly stream on YouTube. I'm gonna have to set up dual streaming. I honestly, that's like I have to do dual streaming. I
oh
just
no,
got it.
no, it's easy to set up. If you need some help, I can help you with it. But yeah, dual
I
streaming,
do.
uh, Instagram. I don't know about TikTok because I've been looking at TikTok myself in terms of where it's going as a platform. I don't think it'll be relevant in a few years. There is YouTube Shorts, but nevertheless, y'all go follow my man on those platforms. Also, if you are here and you're on the other platforms like Kick or Twitch and you enjoyed this chat, why don't you guys give me a subscribe on my YouTube channel? I'm working on trying to build that up and trying to get uh, bring you guys the best possible Street Fighter content. Stuff like this. Uh, maybe some tier lists, some other what is it? Helpful video tutorials. That's what uh, helpful tutorials. So go ahead and give me a follow at Narukami2D on every one of my socials. I make sure to have it consistent. I'm not like Paladin. Um, you need to make yourself consistent, my man, so people can find you on one thing instead of having three different handles for multiple things. But uh, nevertheless, appreciate you, Paladin, for coming through. This has been a wonderful stream. The replay will be up for you guys, and I also will be going through and segmenting these things as separate videos, and it will be uploading them to the channel. So, till then, you guys have a wonderful rest of the evening, and I will see you guys later.
On the next episode. All right. Peace.